I was born in England in 1632. My dad was German and my mom was English. I had 2 brothers and 1 sister. We were a happy family. My dad was a successful businessman, so we had a lot of money. I received a good education and had a comfortable life. But deep inside, I had a dream. I wanted to explore the world by traveling on the sea. My dad cared about me and wanted the best for me. However, he didn't share my dream. He was worried and unhappy about my desire to travel by sea. It made things difficult for me. When I turned 18, my dad called me into his room. He wanted to talk to me. He asked me why I wanted to travel on the sea. Then, with tears in his eyes, he told me, "Traveling by sea is dangerous. It's not comfortable, and you could even die." It was a tough moment for both of us. I thought about what my dad said. Traveling by sea was indeed risky and uncomfortable. I could face danger and maybe even lose my life. But on the other hand, it was incredibly exciting. I could discover new countries and meet interesting people. Every day, I couldn't stop thinking about traveling by sea. Being at home became difficult for me. I tried to talk to my mom about it. I told her, "I really want to travel by sea. I want to see the world." I asked her to help me convince my dad, hoping that with her support, I could fulfill my dream. My mom loved me dearly, but she shared my dad's concerns. She believed that traveling by sea was dangerous and that staying in England was the best choice for me. A year later, I visited Hull, a town in England, on September 1, 1651. There, I met a friend whose dad owned a ship. They frequently traveled on the sea. Their next voyage was to London. Excited by the opportunity, my friend said, "Come with us." I pondered on the idea. I wasn't fully prepared for such a journey, but I decided to give it a try to see if traveling by sea was meant for me. So, I joined them on the voyage to London. At first, I was overjoyed. It was my very first experience of sailing on the sea, and it was incredibly thrilling. The initial hours were fantastic. However, soon we encountered some problems. A storm emerged on the horizon, gradually growing closer. The wind howled stronger, and the waves swelled larger. The ship rocked violently, and fear gripped me. I couldn't help but long for the safety of my home and my cozy bed. The storm finally subsided by morning, and the weather cleared. The rest of the day was peaceful, and the evening unfolded with breathtaking serenity. In that tranquil moment, a man approached me. We engaged in conversation, and he shared some light-hearted jokes that brought a smile to my face. He asked about the storm, and I recounted my fearful experience. To my surprise, he chuckled and said, "That little wind. Don't worry about it." He offered me a drink, and I indulged, drinking more than I should have. Eventually, sleep embraced me, and I slept soundly that night. When I awoke the next day, I found myself detached from thoughts of home and the comfort of my bed. Instead, I began to dream even more about the wonders of traveling by sea. For the next 3 days, the wind was unfavorable, and our progress was slow. But then, the wind picked up speed, and we sailed faster. Unfortunately, another storm loomed on the horizon. This one was even fiercer, and it filled me with great fear. I could see that the other men on board were scared too. Youthful strength, I found myself enslaved by the pirate captain, and it made me feel deeply sad. Life as a slave was incredibly tough, with long hours of hard work. Every day, I carried out the captain's orders, whether it was working in the house or tending to the garden. The captain would tell me what to do, and I didn't enjoy the work. I longed to change my situation and regain my freedom. Occasionally, the captain would take me along on fishing trips. Together with a young boy, we would assist him in catching fish using a small boat. Sometimes, we would even fish alongside the captain's friends. One day, as we set sail, a thick fog descended upon us, making it impossible to see. We were completely lost, desperately trying to find land throughout the day and night. Eventually, we reached land the following morning. Upon returning home, the captain instructed me to prepare a larger boat for fishing. He planned to host important guests and wanted to take them fishing, followed by a hunting expedition. However, the guests never arrived. Seeing an opportunity, I decided it was my chance to escape. The boat was stocked with plenty of food and guns, and I knew the next day would be my moment to run away. As I made my escape plans, I couldn't help but think of the young woman. I wanted to take her with me, but I didn't know how to make it happen. It wasn't feasible to bring her aboard the boat, which saddened me greatly. I longed for my freedom, yet my heart yearned to be by her side. When the morning arrived, I hoped to catch a glimpse of her in the house. And there she was, the most beautiful woman in my eyes. As our gazes met, she sensed that something was different. Perhaps she understood that this might be our final moment together. Our eyes locked, and she reached out, touching my hand briefly. I could sense her understanding. Her face mirrored my sadness, yet she managed to offer a faint smile. Then, she departed, and that would be the last time I laid eyes on her. An hour later, the boy and I made our way to the boat, accompanied by one of the captain's friends, who would oversee our fishing activities for the day. Sailed away from the land. I acted like I couldn't catch fish. We went farther from the shore, and our boss said we could fish there. Then, when our boss went to the front of the boat, I quickly pushed him into the water. He tried to swim back, but I had a gun. When he saw the gun, he swam away. After he left, I turned to the boy. I wanted to know if he was on my side. It seemed like he was. Finally, after 2 long years, I was free. We tried to go as fast as we could. The wind was good, and the next day we were far from the pirate land. But I still worried about the pirates. I didn't want him to catch me again. I was so scared that I didn't let the boy stop the boat for 5 days. On the 6th day, I felt a bit safer. We found a small river near the coast. We needed fresh water, so we decided to stop there. We waited until it was dark to go up the river. We wanted to find clean water, not salty seawater. But then we heard scary noises. The boy was scared and didn't want to continue. We stayed on the boat near the river, but we couldn't sleep. Some animals came to drink water, and they made loud noises. The boy was really scared, and I was scared too. Then we heard an animal swimming towards us. The boy asked me to go away, but I didn't want to leave. I took a gun and shot at the animal. It turned and swam back to the land. The other animals heard the gun and went away too. We stayed on the boat until morning. In the morning, we had some bread to eat. The boy said he wanted to go to the beach. I decided to go with him. We had 2 big bottles of water. We took some fresh water from the river. The boy wanted to explore further inland, but I wanted to stay near the boat. So I stayed on the beach while the boy went alone. After a while, he came back with a strange animal in his hand. It looked like a chicken. He was very happy, and I was happy too. We had fresh meat and water. I didn't know exactly where we were. I knew we had sailed along the African coastline. I hoped that we would meet an English ship as we traveled. I thought we were in an empty place because we didn't see any people. Sometimes we heard wild animals though. One morning, as we went to get water, we saw a huge lion on the beach. It was only 20 meters away from us. The boy was scared. When the lion saw us, it started running towards us. We didn't have much time. I had to shoot at it. I had 3 guns. The first bullet hit its leg, the second hit its head, and the third ended its life. We couldn't eat the lion's meat because it wasn't good. But I wanted to keep its skin. We placed the skin on top of the boat, and it dried in the sun.